Comes after CLT has repeatedly broken records for local passenger traffic earlier this spring and summer. From Tuesday, July 2nd through Monday, July the 8th, the airport is expecting approximately 191,000 local passengers, all departing Charlotte. That's a 15.6% uptick from the same period in 2023. In addition, the forecasting for total passenger traffic of 1.18 million during this period is reflecting a 12% increase compared to last year. And case closed for a Clover man. He'll spend 13 years in prison following a crime spree back in June of 2022. Prosecutors say Hampton robbed a Waffle House, a Domino's, and a Papa John's in Charlotte. He was eventually caught in Charlotte when police officers did a traffic stop. He also had drugs and guns in the car. In the news center, I'm Teller Cup.
WRHI Rock Hill, W261CY Rock Hill. Good pharmacy. Rock Hill's hometown pharmacy for over 60 years. Camden Avenue at Ebenezer Road. Straight Talk on WRHI FM 100.1 and CN2 is presented by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now here's Manning Kimmel broadcasting live from Substation 2 on Cherry Road in Rock Hill with Straight Talk, selected by the South Carolina Broadcasters Association as the state's top public affairs program.
And a good afternoon. Welcome into Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop for another edition of our Straight Talk program presented by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Our thanks to our co-sponsor today, Anderson Griggs Investments in Old Town Rock Hill. Common sense, intelligent advice for conservative investors. You can find out more online at andersongriggs.com. And our thanks to Good Pharmacy, your hometown pharmacy, Ebenezer Road at Camden Avenue in Rock Hill. So we are surrounded by brilliant people here today that are bringing beautiful music to our community. Betty Plum, who is with the Rock Hill Symphony Orchestra. She's the Director of Development. And a guy who hangs out every concert. He stands up there with this baton and does this. His name is Maestro Christoper James Lee. How are you all doing here today on the radio?
Oh, it is such a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I just told the Maestro over here, you might want to develop a theme song for Straight Talk, right? And we'll see how it comes out when you got nothing else to do.
That sounds like a great idea. We've already developed theme music for the BMX World Championships.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And commissioned a piece called Champions Come to Rock Hill, which we're going to be opening our next season with. So writing things for Rock Hill, South Carolina is not out of our purview.
We do it, and we will quote you a price for doing it. It'll be well done.
Yeah.
I'll leave that to Betty.
I'll pass it on to my partner. I'm sure he'll be glad to pay that. So let's do some introductions here. Betty, tell everybody a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, I'm retired about 8 years ago from being executive director of the South Carolina Arts Alliance, which is a statewide arts advocacy organization for state arts funding that goes all the way down to local communities like local arts councils, like the one right here, and to protect and public education. So we're public education funds. So that's what I did for about 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah. But
wow.
I've never done anything with a symphony, and I've always wanted to learn, how does a symphony run?
Well, you're learning now, aren't you?
Now I know.
So, young Maestro Christoper James Lee, tell us about you.
Oh, I'm just wrapping up my first season as music director for the Rock Hill Symphony. It's a pleasure to work with Betty and the other members of the board of directors. I feel like we've had a banner year, and getting to refine and reflect and promote and perform all this great music for the citizens of Rock Hill. It's been such a joy. The musicians and I have grown considerably in this year, and we've only got the brightest of visions of how we're going to move through next year. And so it's incredibly excited. I'm just so glad that I remember the last time I was in Substation 2, we talked before the season got started.
Oh, yeah.
And had an invigorated conversation. And it's so great to be on the cusp of the second season, knowing how much even greater music lies ahead.
This is like taking a blank sheet of paper and starting from scratch to build this thing called the Rock Hill Symphony Orchestra. Right. So for those who have the foggiest idea what the heck we're talking about, let's go back and get a little history. Betty, tell us how this whole thing got going.
Okay, well, there's some musicians locally and some folks that love good symphonic music and thought, why doesn't Rock Hill have a symphony orchestra? A lot of smaller towns than us do. And here we are, in the circle of around Charlotte, and there are regional symphonies,
Right.
and there's symphonies all the way down to, Myrtle Beach and Hilton Head. So they formed a group and got a board, did a 501c3 with a Secretary of State, and started looking for a conductor, and started the year, and this was back in 2017. And then, of course, we had a couple of years of the pandemic, as everybody else did. And we are so thankful that our attendance numbers and our sponsorships are now where they were before the pandemic and rising even higher and faster. So, it hit a lot of organizations as well as businesses, as everybody knows, in all sectors. But our symphony is in the black, doing fantastic. And we're so pleased to be working with Christoper. He attracts the best symphonic musicians in the region. They want to play and work with him, and we benefit from that, as does our community.
So how did we find this guy? Was he on
my
Facebook
goodness.
someplace?
Well, he was a guest conductor during the season where we were having guest conductors. And so his name was in the pot, to speak, and got down to the finalists. And I was lucky enough to be on the selection committee. And, sometimes you just know when you know.
Yeah.
And so I can say that we're so pleased with our decision, above and beyond.
Good.
Yeah.
Good job.
Well, and I'm happy to have been in the pot and not overcooked. So we are still ripe and ready to go.
So now this is interesting to me because the life of a conductor is really multifaceted. You're a conductor here, you're the maestro here, but you do this other places. I mean, it's like I'm an on-call maestro to make all these communities that I work for come alive. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. It's not dissimilar from what our musicians do when they're called from the orchestras in Spartanburg or Greenville or Charleston or Charlotte, except the people that call me are national. And so I'll be called to Los Angeles or Milwaukee or Houston or Detroit or New York City. And those moments are always so exhilarating, but my home is right here. I live in Charlotte, and this is 40 minutes from my house, and so I can come down here and be a part of the community, be driving distance, although no one else has to drive up 77 to get to me, which is great for them.
We thank you for that.
Yeah. But I love living here. My 9-year-old son is here, and we are just like enjoying raising him in this area. And it's such a joy to be able to extend my musical life, not on an airplane halfway across the country or the world, but right here in the community in which I live and work.
Jeez. So in the course of a year, how many different communities are you doing what you do here for them?
Yeah, so with the Charlotte Symphony, I'm the resident conductor, and I do more than 60 concerts a year.
60?
Just within Mecklenburg County, or we'll go up to Mooresville or Stanley County or Hamlet, North Carolina. And then with the Rock Hill Symphony, I think we've got 5 programs, bumping it up to 6 next season with an additional Pops concert, which we're really excited about. And then outside of that, I'll do probably maybe half a dozen performances. Last season was in Houston and Fort Worth, and I guess the season before I was in Miami, and then the New York Philharmonic at Lincoln Center, which was such a joy. And next season I'm going back to Houston and Knoxville, Tennessee, and a few other places.
I got it.
I've got more than 72 concerts next season, starting with the Rock Hill Symphony September 7th.
So do you select all the music for these concerts?
The programs are decided collaboratively. The orchestras say we want to play these things, or it's been too soon since we've played the piece that you've suggested.
Right.
And these are the soloists, and sometimes I get curatorial freedom to say I'd really love to do a concert in a brewery like we did at Hoppin' this season.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
And I said, and I say to the board, hey, can we do an orchestra concert in a brewery? And they say yes, and then we curate something that we now call Bach and Brews that is incredibly fun and such a variety of music and such a good time. And anytime you got a pint in your hand, you're having a good time anyway.
So you collaboratively select the music, but the musicians for each of these concerts, you draw them in? Say, hey, gang, I'm going to be doing this one in Houston, and I need da-da-da-da-da-da. Who wants to play?
Well, typically, if I'm going to another city, they'll work out who's playing.
Okay.
I don't get involved too much. But when it comes to the orchestra in Rock Hill or in Charlotte, we can say, for Bach and Brews, we need 14 string players. We've got a dynamite personnel manager named Ryan Knott who's got a Rolodex. You guys know what a Rolodex is. Maybe some of your listeners are too young to know what a Rolodex is, but we've got our roster of folks that we call, and then we work out the puzzle. If they have another gig somewhere else, they're unavailable, we go to the next name on the list. But we've got such a strong core group of players for the Rock Hill Symphony that oftentimes, anytime we pick up the phone and say, hey, are you free? They'll say, yes, I want to be there. I want to play for the community in Rock Hill because it's close to my house, or I love the colleagues there, or I'll suffer through that conductor's silly jokes on the microphone that gets the crowd into it. And then the orchestra's formed, and we generally rehearse very quickly, and then we're off to performance.
That's what's amazing to me. When you select the music, and you got the musicians, and you got the date, these pros, and I'm saying pros, come rolling in here, what, a day before or something to sit down? Okay, let's try this and see what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And you tweak it, and boom, you're ready to go.
That's right.
They've been sent that music a couple of weeks ahead of time, and these are professionals. And like I say, they love to work with each other. Specific colleagues just love to perform together, love to perform for him. When he says he has 60 concerts coming up, that doesn't count the rehearsals that lead up to all those concerts.
Oh, I know.
It's a lot of work.
Okay, development director.
Yes.
When we talk about this, I think people can put two and two together.
Right.
This is not an inexpensive undertaking.
No, it's not. So we're in the fundraising business as well as developing our audiences and trying to go to new places and attract new folks to new venues. But the more we raise, the more we can have. And so beyond our season, we like to do some other smaller events. You'll see us at Glencairn Gardens during Come See Me and downtown at Christmasville. We do an exciting program in the schools where we play for over 2,200 fifth graders. It might be 3 concerts he will direct in one day. And the school district brings those kids in with the buses, and they go off like clockwork. You just wouldn't believe it. But and that's a repeat of the day before's family education concert, which is free.
Right.
And this year's, you might want to talk about what that concept is going to be like, working with the jazz and Renaissance.
Yeah, that's right. So this is October 27th, Sunday. It's 4 o'clock at Sullivan Auditorium. And the theme of the concert this year is the 1920s jazz age and the Harlem Renaissance. And so what we're doing is putting together a program that tells the story of an important facet of American history that doesn't always get the amount of spotlight that, at least artistically, it deserves, because there were a number of incredible thinkers, writers, composers in New York City and Harlem that were writing and composing. And so we're going to have everybody from Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington to Florence Price, William Grant Still, Harry T. Burleigh, as well as Aaron Copland and George Gershwin, composers that people do recognize. And we think that here we are 100 years later, and we're this far removed, and it's not just because all these New Yorkers keep moving to York County, but that there was an incredible amount of artistic fertility at that time that's part of the story of this nation's artistic undertaking. And so that's a really exciting program that we're thrilled to offer, especially to kids before they go off to middle school. They get to middle school, they get the opportunity to pick up an instrument. They get the opportunity to find a musical voice or an artistic voice. And knowing that those instruments and that artistic expression is not, it doesn't discriminate based on where you've been, where you grew up, any part of your background. It's as inclusive as anything. Showing music from the jazz age, I think, helps drive that point home, and it's also just really fun to listen to.
And besides that, it is interwoven with the curriculum standards.
Oh, yeah.
Our Elda Franklin, our education director, she works directly with the teachers and with Christoper to make all this come alive for our students.
All right, let's get back to the development side, because
Yeah.
I think people need to understand this. Your job is to raise dollars
Right.
from whatever source you can get.
That's correct.
Do you get anything from the Arts Council in the state of South Carolina?
Oh, no, we don't. What we do is we count on our individual sponsors, our business community,
Right.
Grants. We do write grants, and Elder Franklin does that for us. But, as with all symphony orchestras, the ticket sales are not going to cover how we run as an organization. They only cover maybe 2/3 in our case. So we count on those individual sponsorships, which can start as low as $100 and go on up. And thankfully, we've got a community that is really coming alive and excited about what we're doing. So we've got new donors coming this season, and we've had donors who've been with us who are ratcheting up their donation. So we know
Good.
they're happy, and that's what we want our customer base, our audience, to be really happy and engaged and enjoying the symphonic experience that we bring.
Now, you do this, and I never thought you would get this result, but you do it at Sullivan Middle School.
Yes.
Now, I don't know who designed Sullivan Middle School and did the acoustic work in there, but the first concert I went to, I was literally in probably the back 10 rows, 10, 15 rows. I could not believe the quality of the sound.
Right.
I mean, I even recorded it here on my iPhone to play some segments back on the air the next morning, and I was dumbfounded.
Absolutely.
I
The
mean, it's a
acoustics
perfect
are great.
place.
The sight lines are great. You know, it's I'd like to call it vintage, kind of like fine wine. It has those wooden seats. They're not upholstered, but we encourage you to bring a cushion. Be comfortable. But you're going to get a fantastic symphonic experience.
Well, it's a great location.
The
I know you
highest
did South Point High School the year
Yes.
before that.
Yes.
And that's a distant location, not as easy to get to, bigger facility. But what you got now is really workable.
Yeah.
Which leads me to an interesting question. We're all focused on this, Performing Arts Center in downtown Rock Hill, and it'll happen. I know it's going to happen. Too many people are involved with it, and I know how Rock Hill works. When Rock Hill gets behind something, it'll eventually happen. But, I'm looking at the numbers of people who are showing up for Sullivan Middle School for the Rock Hill Symphony Orchestra concerts. And I think the seating that they're talking about for this new Performing Arts Center is around 500 people.
Right, about 525.
You're drawing more than 500 people right now, and
Correct.
Lord knows where you'll be by the time that thing's done.
That's right.
So is anybody talking to them about, hey, you might want to see if we can make this thing a little bit bigger?
Well, I think it's fair to say that we're all invested in the process, and we have many conversations both with their great executive director, Todd Leahy, and our board president, Dr. Sarah Lynn Hayes, in keeping the Rock Hill Symphony's presence in the Performing Arts Center a front-of-mind topic as the design discussions continue onward. Ultimately, if the Performing Arts Center is the hub of live arts in the city of Rock Hill, the Rock Hill Symphony Orchestra needs to be at the heart of the heart.
You think?
And
Absolutely.
so if the seating ends up being fewer than what we will typically draw for a single night, then we'll start looking at what other options exist so that we don't have to diminish the number of people that we can perform for and the number of lives we can affect. Through these performances, we'll look at, well, maybe that means adding an additional performance. Maybe that means a matinee on a Sunday instead of a Saturday evening, and people won't have to drive at night, which I know is a limiting factor for some folks. Like, we're in the creative business, and so if we're given a constraint, as Stravinsky used to say, constraint breeds creativity. And so we're going to be really creative with whatever structures exist, but our mission and our vision and our focus about offering as many people as possible the transformational experience of live music making, that will be our decision make. That will be our North Star in any decisions we make.
I'll tell you what, if somebody wants to give a really neat gift, buy some tickets to whatever, I mean, you get a whole list of concerts. You only have to go one time. I promise you. You only have to go one time. And listen, they're not just playing Beethoven and Bach all the time. This man is pulling out all kinds of stuff.
Absolutely.
And you'll be hooked. If you like anything with music, I don't care if you're a
Right.
country music fan or whether you're a 60s fan or a 70s fan, you're going to like
That's
this
right.
music.
That's right.
We like to believe that we're like a globe that has an access point for just about everybody. So if your musical tastes revolve mostly around the holidays, we got a holiday show for you. If it's mostly around movie music, we have a movie music show. If you like to have a pint, we've got our brewery show. If you're more of a Dvorak New World Symphony and Rimsky-Korsakov Capriccio Espagnol, like orchestral fireworks, we've got moments of that for you. Really anything that you need to find to have a great experience for you or your kids or your grandkids, you can find it at the Rock Hill Symphony.
Can you fit any more musicians on that stage at Sullivan than you had at the last concert? I mean, I
I don't think so.
I don't think so. How many did you have up there? 100?
No, we had, I think, 64, maybe 66. Yeah. But remember, these are adult-sized bodies, not middle school-sized bodies.
Some large instruments.
Big instruments. I sit there and I watch those big bass players.
Yeah.
And you got two of them side by side, and that's a monstrous instrument.
Yes, that's right. That's bigger than 3 middle schoolers put together.
That's exactly right. All right, we got to take our mid-program break. Remind everybody that you are listening to Straight Talk, live from Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop. Presented by Founders Federal Credit Union, relax here with Founders, and by Anderson Griggs Investments at Old Town Rock Hill. Common sense, intelligent advice for conservative investors. You can find out more online at andersongriggs.com. And our thanks to Piedmont Medical Center, a community built on care. You can find out more about Piedmont Medical Center online at piedmontmedicalcenter.com or talk to me in my new knee. All right, we do fresh subs and salads here at Substation 2. There is a way we do it. It's in the white letters, and for all those who have not been smart enough to get in here, we're going to tell you why they keep coming. 1, 2, 3.
Slice, slice, slice. Garden, garden, garden.
Back after these words.
If it's 12:30, it's Straight Talk on WRHI and CN2.
There are lots of reasons why people like dining at Substation 2.
I like the friendly service, and I like that the meat's fresh and the food tastes good. They slice the meat right there in front of you.
Man, it's just utterly delicious.
I'm Charlie Ruffalo, and I guarantee you'll feel the same way after eating here at Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop.
Why do you take investment advice from a mutual fund or insurance salesman when you can work directly with a genuine money manager? If you have $100,000 or more, call the professionals at Anderson Griggs Investments and see the difference for yourself. 324-5044 or go online to andersongriggs.com.
We hope you'll choose The Nest to deliver your newest bundle of joy. The Nest is a new labor and delivery recovery postpartum unit at Piedmont Medical Center, Fort Mill, working to make your pregnancy and childbirth experience as easy and enjoyable as possible. Our physicians and nursing staff at Piedmont are dedicated to giving expectant mothers the maternity care they want and need. Learn more at piedmontmedicalcenter.com. Piedmont Medical Center, a community built on care.
When disaster strikes, one of the most important things is getting life back to normal. A little compassion can go a long way. Paul Davis is here for you. Paul Davis is committed to handling any property damage with exceptional care because what we do is about more than property. It's about people. We have the training and expertise necessary to completely restore your property fast. For all your cleanup and restoration needs, call the experts at Paul Davis Restoration at 329-1140 or find us online at pauldavisrockhill.com.
Relax this summer with a promotional rate on select travel purchases with your Founders Federal Credit Union credit card. Now through August 31st, get 6.99% APR for 6 months on qualifying purchases, including airfare, hotels, restaurants, and cruise lines. Don't let interest rates slow you down this summer. Visit foundersfcu.com/travel to learn more. On March 1st, 2025, the promotional APR will revert to the effective APRs previously disclosed. Call 800-845-1614 for details about credit costs and terms. Membership qualification required.
Have you ever wondered why so many people enjoy dining at Substation 2?
It's just always a great, consistent meal.
Enjoy the Italian sub with salami.
I enjoy just the atmosphere.
I'm Charlie Ruffalo, and I guarantee you'll feel the same way after eating here at Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop.
Straight Talk on WRHI FM 100.1 and CN2 is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders.
And back we are here at Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop. Betty Plum and Maestro Christoper James Lee, are with us today. We're talking about the Rock Hill Symphony Orchestra. And if you haven't had a taste of it, let me just give you a little sample here. Oh, yeah. All right, we could play this all afternoon. We're not going to do that. So anyway, it's captivating, and I think that's probably the best term I could use. I don't care what your background in music is. You don't have to be a professor. You don't have to be a musician. It's just, as they say, what do they say? Art is anything that instills an emotion. Is that about right? Something like that?
Yeah, that's right.
It moves you.
And many people don't know, this is a little bit esoteric, but the word for empathy comes out of a German word that relates to the viewer's experience of the art, like empathizing with a piece of art. A piece of art works on them and they have a similar feeling. That was extrapolated to describe human empathy a few years later. And so it's really a part of the birthright of being human is engaging with art, especially in community, with friends and neighbors and relatives. That is as human an experience as anything.
I think you'll find out whether you have a soul or not by just sitting in there. I mean, really, you will start to react to this stuff. Anyway.
Oh, and react, Manning does. He sits there and helps Christoper conduct the symphony from his seat, and we love that kind of audience reaction and interaction.
It's like a first base coach. You're right on my shoulder. I know exactly where to find you.
It's embarrassing, my wife says. She says, you'd have to learn to conduct. I said, I'm just enjoying this thing. I can't help that the arms
That's
flying.
What we want.
I'll give you a lesson sometime. We can do it. That'll work.
No, I'll stay in my own lane here. All right, so how do we get people involved with this to tell them what's coming? I mean, what kind of neat things are coming up?
You've got to come to our website. It's at rhsymphony.org. And you'll find out all the information about tickets. Our ticket sales for Maestro just went on sale a couple of weeks ago. The rest of the season goes on sale July 1. And we've got just a great lineup for our Lucky Season 7, as we're calling it. Mm-hmm. So, and that does include that Extra Pops concert that Christoper mentioned, Movie's Greatest Musical Hits. And we've got 2 programs that are going to be at 4 o'clock. So we want, we're trying to do things a little differently. So our Harlem Renaissance concert, family concert that is free, is October 27th at 4 o'clock. And our Holiday Pops is going to be a Sunday at 4 o'clock. And the rest will be our 7:30 concerts.
And that Holiday Pops.
Oh, it's a big one.
That was a fun one, wasn't it?
That'll fill up the place.
Especially how you come out dressed.
Oh, yeah.
You never know which jacket is going to make its appearance, but it's always going to be festive.
And our Halloween Spooktacular last year, which was the family concert, he was Batman.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Man's out of control.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get, but you know it'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
Okay, so you can go to rockhillsymphony.org, rhsymphony.org.
That is right.
Find out all the information.
Absolutely.
What kind of little things are you thinking about right now that are not yet in play?
Right. Well, Bach and Brews was so popular over at Hoppin with Joe Gullidge, and we're hoping to do that again and looking at a February date for that. We're thinking about a lunch and learn where you learn about the history of some of the music that is being played or other things. We have a Boston Marathon runner in our presence right now.
Yeah.
Christoper ran in that.
And I cannot believe that you and Lucas McFadden didn't get into talking. He's a runner too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, do you realize that the Maestro here is a runner? I didn't know that.
Absolutely. And so we might be doing a Beat Beethoven 5K run with the Maestro leading the run.
I'll be at the start-finish line and waving you off.
We'll need an announcer. We'll need somebody to call out the names as they
volunteer.
I'll
volunteer.
Yes, absolutely. And, of course, our annual fundraising gala, which really helps us bring in the extra money to do the extra things we need to do. We would love to have a year-round programming, maybe not always the full orchestra, but smaller ensembles going to different places, performing for different groups. And so for that, we just need to raise more to do more.
Right.
So.
And I guess there is, what would you call it, a saturation point that each community has. We're good for 6 concerts a year. We're not interested in 12 a year. I mean, I'm just thinking that
right.
Everybody has their own tipping point.
That's true. Right. I'm so happy that we have we're nowhere near that saturation point for Rock Hill.
No.
It's so exciting to be, and to me too, as an artist and as a conductor, an artistic leader, to think about what the distance is between where we are and where that moment is.
Right.
And I think as the city of Rock Hill grows, as your county grows, certainly this area is not getting any smaller. I think there will be only increased interest and increased appetite for the kind of fun, engaging, family-friendly, multidisciplinary, fascinating, intellectually stimulating, and emotionally overwhelming pieces that we like to do every time we take the stage.
Well, if you just take a little taste of it, get yourself a couple of tickets,
That's right.
go to the concert, the rest will sell itself.
Absolutely. We count on our ticket buyers, but we also count on those sponsors, and you can jump in and be a friend of the Symphony for the $100 and on up. And the benefits packages are in our brochure and online.
Christoper James Lee, thank you very much for being with us. Betty Plum, of course. Thank you, everybody involved with the Rock Hill Symphony Orchestra. There's a lot of volunteers out there that are making this thing hum.
And we're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
And we love the fandom that we have from you, man. So thanks so much.
You're one of our stars.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's going to wrap up our Straight Talk program presented by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax here with Founders. And by Anderson Griggs Investments in Old Town Rock Hill. Common sense, intelligent advice for conservative investors. You can find out more online at andersongriggs.com. All right, one more time. We do fresh subs and we do salads here at Substation 2. We do it 6 days a week. The way we do it is in the white letters, and that's what keeps bringing people back here day after day after day, even though they're in their softball outfits. It doesn't make any difference. How do we do it? 1, 2, 3.
Slice, slice, slice. Garden, garden, garden.
Have yourself a wonderful day. We'll see you on the radio Monday. Bye.
South Carolina's most honored radio station. News Talk 100.1 WRHI Rock Hill. W261CY Rock Hill. The voice of York County.
An OTS media station.
Reacting to the debate, Gianna Gelosi, Fox News, a wave of panic among some Democrats after President Biden's stumbling performance at last night's CNN presidential debate.
And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Fox's Grady Trimble has the latest from Atlanta, Georgia.
There was substantive policy discussion on the economy, the border, the wars in Israel and Gaza, but all of that is being overshadowed today because President Biden failed at his primary objective last night, which was to allay concerns that he is too old for another 4 years. So about halfway through the debate, we started hearing from Biden's campaign that he was sick as a way to sort of explain his hoarse voice and what we were witnessing. But by the end of the night, people in the Democratic Party were scrambling, trying to figure out what to do after that.
Now, Vice President Kamala Harris said the president had a slow start, but a strong finish. And while the president stumbled, his campaign, with a news release this morning, highlighted what they say were 50 of Trump's lies.
A campaign email this morning reads, all 50 of Trump's lies, 16 more lies than felonies, 48 more lies than impeachments. Now, this was their strategy even ahead of the debate last night. They issued a pre-debate memo with a list of, quote, important Trump lies to look out for. And this is what First Lady Jill Biden said at a watch party right after the debate.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
At a Waffle House on his way to the airport, the president said that he had a sore throat.
That's Fox's Jackie Heinrich reporting from the White House. America is listening to Fox News.
For years now, people have been switching their wireless service to Pure Talk to save money. Just $20 a month, you get unlimited talk and text and tons of data. But more people are switching to Pure Talk, a veteran-owned company, to support the America's Warrior Partnership and their mission to help prevent veteran suicide. To make the switch, dial pound 250, say the keyword SAVE NOW, and you'll be connected to Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team. Make the switch, same service, save money, help vets, pound 250, keyword SAVE NOW. You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter.
In the news center, I'm Tyler Cupp. Another person has been arrested in connection with the deadly shooting that happened earlier this month at a block party in Rock Hill. This makes the fourth person attached to that incident. The Rock Hill police Thursday announced that a 20-year-old Marcus Lavon Pearson has now been charged with accessory after the fact of murder. The charges stem in connection in the fatal shooting of 44-year-old Montez Mincy back on June the 1st. The investigation is active and ongoing. And a celebration for the Lifehouse Women's Shelter happened on Thursday.
And today we just cut the ribbon to our first transitional house, which is kind of a next phase of housing that we're moving into.
That's Lifehouse Board Chair Courtney Denton talking about the organization's first transitional home. It's located on the corner of McDowell Drive and Charlotte Avenue in Rock Hill. This new transitional home will support women and children, providing them essential housing along with income-based opportunities for housing while they search for a permanent one. In the News Center, I'm Teller Cupp.
This weekend will not be a complete washout. We will just be dodging on and off showers. Next best chance at widespread rain will come midday Sunday into early Monday. Temperatures will be in the low to mid 90s, but with that humidity, with that storm potential, it's going to be feeling closer to the upper 90s, if not triple digit mark. Things will calm down quite a bit into early next week. Mostly sunny for your Monday. From Severe Weather Center 9, I'm meteorologist Maddie Baggett.
If you have tried traditional weight loss methods of diet, exercise, and medications and failed to see lasting results, you may be a candidate for bariatric surgery at Piedmont Medical Center, Fort Mill. Our 3 board-certified surgeons have performed more than 1,000 minimally invasive robotic surgical weight loss procedures, which can be very effective in long-term management of weight. Piedmont Medical Center, Fort Mill, offering comprehensive weight management and weight loss services supporting patients on their journey to wellness. Learn more online at piedmontmedicalcenter.com.
Somebody injures somebody else due to their negligence and they're not willing to step up and make that person whole again, we're the ones that go and make that happen.
We work together to make sure that what we're doing is understanding our client. It's very difficult to be a voice for someone that you don't know.
We don't want somebody to feel alone when they're not able to provide for their family because of an injury. We want people to know that there's somebody out there that will fight for them.
We don't want you to fight your own battles. We don't want you to go it alone. We want you to call Schiller & Hamilton because we've got you back.
Schiller & Hamilton Law Firm. Don't go it alone. 803-366-0333.
Get smart about your insurance and make sure you have the right coverage and the best premium. This is Jim Gill. Insurance is complicated, and you can find yourself without coverage just when you need it the most if you don't understand what your policy says and what's actually covered. So join us for Get Smart About Your Insurance Mondays here on WRHI 100.1 FM, brought to you by Gill Insurance in Rock Hill, Gill Holler Insurance in Fort Mill, and Auto Owners Insurance Company.
Are you concerned about market volatility, rising taxes, economic uncertainty, and how it could all affect your future in retirement? Then tune in to Money Matters with Mike to learn how you can protect and grow your hard-earned money. Money Matters with Mike every Saturday at 9 a.m. right here on FM 100.1 and AM 1340. Schedule a free, no-obligation consultation now at moneymatterswithmike.com. Portions of the following program may contain pre-recorded material.
He's the happy conservative warrior. From the Relief Factor Studios, here's Mike Gellinger.
There were so many horrific moments for Joe Biden last night, it's hard to know where to begin. All I know is that the headlines are screaming out today after last night's CNN presidential debate. Over at the Drudge Report, they're sounding the panic alarm. Operation Replace Biden, screams the Drudge Report. And Drudge doesn't like Trump. Dems scramble with 130 days to go. Debate catastrophe. That's Drudge. CNN's Van Jones was on the verge of tears last night. Says Biden should be replaced if he will let us. Look, we knew that Biden was in bad condition. We've been talking about it for months and months. I don't think anybody anticipated how bad he would actually be last night on that debate stage. There was this lame, pitiful attempt by the White House after the debate to suggest that he had a cold. A cold. My gosh, he was in terrible, terrible shape. Maybe President Trump, who was splendid last night. He was restrained. He was disciplined. He was careful not to go overboard. He didn't take the bait. It was a perfect format, actually, for Trump, much to the chagrin of the angry left. They wanted Jake Tapper and Dana Bash to screech and interrupt and scream and embarrass Trump. And when they didn't do that, oh my gosh, you should see the blistering attacks against CNN right now. They were horrible. The Daily Beast, they're a performance. Dana Bash and Jake Tapper were a total embarrassment. Was terrible, horrible. They actually let two men stand up there and talk. How dare they? The American people got to see both of these men side by side, uninterrupted. How could they be fair? You see, the left doesn't like fairness. They don't want that. They want chaos and interruptions and screaming. There's a lot of people on the verge of tears right now. Perhaps Trump summed it up best of all in one of the incoherent responses that Joe Biden gave. Trump looked over at him bewildered and said this.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
I mean, it was bad. It was way worse. I had some Democrat friends who were texting me and calling me last night saying, yep, now it's a matter of who we find to replace him. He's finished. Politico screamed a headline right after the debate, Biden is toast. And he is. It's over. Claire McCaskill has been one of the biggest Biden cheerleaders on the planet. And incidentally, I absolutely am blowing out my rule about no MSNBC or CNN clips today, because you got to hear CNN and MSNBC. This is when it's fun. This is when it's actually enjoyable. It won't make you mad at all. So Claire McCaskill, the former politician who's now an MSNBC talking head, said the following.
And listen, nobody is a bigger fan of Kamala Harris than I am. And Gavin Newsom did a remarkable job tonight as a surrogate. And what he said, it's not that I disagree with anything they're saying, but those two people are signaling to a whole lot of Americans that are paying attention, how come they're not running? How come the Democratic Party doesn't have them at the top of the ticket instead of using them to shore up what have become, after tonight, some pretty glaring weaknesses in our president?
Yep, they're in trouble, and they know it, and now it's just a matter of who they're going to replace him with. Incidentally, I love the narrative that Trump spewed a bunch of lies. There were such whoppers that Joe Biden told. Let's start with Biden bizarrely claiming that the Border Patrol endorsed him. That's as crazy as him saying, I'm going to cure cancer tomorrow. He makes crap up that it's like the guy from Saturday Night Live. Remember the John Lovitz character? Yeah. I invented ice cream. Yeah, that's the ticket. And Trump didn't take the bait, because as soon as he said it, I thought, oh my gosh, his head's going to explode. The Border Patrol didn't. In fact, they posted on social media during the debate, we didn't endorse Joe Biden. We endorsed Donald Trump. How about the lie about Charlottesville? Snopes just debunked that the other day. It was all over the place, where even Snopes, the left-leaning fact-checking site, said Trump never claimed that neo-Nazis and white supremacists were very fine people. Biden repeated that lie last night. You want to fact-check some lies? Okay, let's play that game. Fact-check Joe Biden all night long. But it's all moot. It's a moot point. Politico is right. Biden is toast. He's absolutely gone. It's finished. And at the end of the day, I'm worried. I mean, I'm ecstatic that Trump had such a great night. I'm delighted that he won the debate hands down. I love the misery, frankly, of these leftists who have been lying to us about Biden's condition all this time. But I am deeply worried about who they're going to come up with now, because whoever they come up with has a better chance against Trump than Joe Biden. 800-655-Mike. The Democrats are in a feeding frenzy right now. There's blood in the water. Let's get your reaction. Your debate performance critique coming up here in the Relief Factor studios. 800-655-Mike. 800-655-6453.
Before, and you will say, na-na, na-na, please give me more, and you
You're listening to South Carolina's 9-time radio station of the year, WRHI 100.1 FM.
Are everyday aches and pains keeping you on the sidelines, preventing you from living your best life? Let me introduce you to Relief Factor. If you're new to this show, or even if you've been around for a while, you're going to know how much I love 100% drug-free pain relief. It's the supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. If everyday aches and pains are keeping you from enjoying the summertime activities, can't be out there with the grandkids, gosh, I hope you'll reach out to Relief Factor, and let's see if we can get you out of pain wherever you're hurting, whether it's your back, your neck, your joints, your muscles. In 3 weeks or less, I'll bet you'll start to feel the difference all day, every day, like I did. Go to ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, or call 1-800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF. You'll save on your first order. Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. Fight pain naturally, like I do with Relief Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. I have a healthy respect for seniors. I'm also a proud member of AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, and you should be too. This is the perfect alternative to the AARP, and I invite you to join them today. They've got a great election year offer. It's normally $16 a year to get all the benefits and discounts you get from everybody else, but you have a conservative organization fighting for seniors all over America. This July 4th, join me and the millions of patriots at AMAC and ensure that our voices are heard. Go to GallagherForAMAC.com, GallagherForAMAC.com. The normal price is $16 a year, but you'll get a 4-year membership for just $30. That's right, 4 years to be an AMAC member. Get all the discounts and benefits you get everywhere else, and you have an organization fighting for us. Go to GallagherForAMAC.com, GallagherForAMAC.com, or just text the letters AMAC, A-M-A-C, to our MyPillow text line, which is 800-655-MIKE. Text AMAC to 800-655-6453 and join AMAC today.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, and I've got a movie coming out, and it is surprisingly clean. It's called Something to Stand For, and it tells a series of incredible stories you've never heard before about a small group of Americans who built our nation. The film will air in theaters all over the country, but only for a limited time, so don't wait. Reserve your tickets today at somethingtostandfor.movie. It's somethingtostandfor.movie. Go there, get your tickets in theaters now.
Mike Gallagher.
Cutting-edge communication technology and same-day service for every customer. That's how Comporium operates. Learn more from Welcome to Comporium, a bi-weekly program series for you, your family, and your business. Tuesday on WRHI 100.1 FM.
Relax this summer with a promotional rate on select travel purchases with your Founders Federal Credit Union credit card. Now through August 31st, get 6.99% APR for 6 months on qualifying purchases, including airfare, hotels, restaurants, and cruise lines. Don't let interest rates slow you down this summer. Visit foundersfcu.com/travel to learn more. On March 1st, 2025, the promotional APR will revert to the effective APRs previously disclosed. Call 800-845-1614 for details about credit costs and terms. Membership qualification required.
It's back. The 7th annual WRHI Football City USA Kickoff powered by Champion Services. August 16th, District 3 Stadium in Rock Hill at 5:30. AirTech Heating and Air presents 7-time state champion South Point versus Palisade.
Touchdown, South Point Stallion.
At 7 p.m., the law offices of Wilkerson, Jones, and Wilkerson present 5-time state champion Northwestern versus 8-time state champion Dutch Fork.
Touchdown, Northwestern Trojans.
At 8:30, it's 5-time and state champion Rock Hill versus Hunter Huss.
Touchdown, Rock Hill Bearcats.
Tickets are $10 in advance and available at footballcityyusakickoff.com. While at the game, take your chance to win free cash as part of the Founders Federal Credit Union Kick for Cash. The WRHI Football City USA Kickoff, powered by Champion Services, is brought to you by
KFC, Rock Hill Coca-Cola, Nichols Store, Burns Chevrolet Cadillac, Rhett Rutland State Farm, and James River Equipment.
We'll see you August 16th at Rock Hill's District 3 Stadium.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. But when we introduce a new stimulus, Save the Food, we're helping to stop food waste. Save the Food. For tips and recipes, visit savethefood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
Breaking now on the Mike Gallagher Show.
It's Supreme Court decision day, and all eyes are on the High Court to see if they'll issue the ruling on presidential immunity. But so far, here's one of the rulings that has been released. The court ruled in favor of a city in Oregon that is imposing criminal and civil penalties on people who are homeless and sleeping in the city parks, creating a landmark precedent for homelessness policies. It was a 6-3 ruling. Cities are going to be allowed to impose penalties on the homeless. So, tough blow for homeless advocates. They were suing representatives, legal representation for the homeless community in Oregon, in this town in Oregon, were suing this town, saying that they have a right to sleep where they want to sleep, be in the public wherever they want to be. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of this Oregon city imposing penalties on the homeless. Now, if there's any other rulings as they are revealed, we'll share them with you right here on the Mike Gallagher Show. Don't miss a minute today. It's going to be a big day. And, of course, the epic reaction to the catastrophic debate performance of Joe Biden last night. It was 1,000 times worse than anybody thought. I actually almost felt sorry for CNN's Van Jones, who clearly was on the verge of tears when he shared with the audience that it's time for Joe to go.
I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can. But he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now. We're still far from our convention, and there is time for this party to figure out a different way forward if he will allow us to do that. But that was not what we needed from Joe Biden, and it's personally painful for a lot of people. It's not just panic, it's pain for what we saw tonight.
They can replace him if he will allow